Feel the rhythm. Feel the rhyme. Get on up. It's podcast time. When I go back to edit these, I get like that 5-second gap with the intro, and then I don't hear. So I always want to like pause for the time, but we don't need to do that.
No, we don't need to do that.
It throws me off.
The magic of editing.
Yeah.
We don't have to do some stuff.
The magic of editing.
I wish I could magically
Editor,
edit
put a
most of my
sparkle
life.
in my hand right now, and now we'll see if I did it later.
Yeah, we'll see.
It might be, yeah. Might be just an emoji. Anyways, go ahead, Jarvis. Do you want to... How coolly are you going to run through this intro?
I'm not.
I'm doing it for him this week, guys.
I'm not going to do it. I refuse to do it. And if I do it, it's not going to be cool. It's going to be humid.
I look pretty ran through this week, I'll be honest.
Oh, man, I feel it. I feel that way. Like, my glasses are very dirty and it's bothering me, but I'm not going to clean them. Nope. So, yeah, welcome back to Full-Time Movie Fans. I'm Jarvis, and this is my cool partner in the crime. And by crime, I mean podcasts. My partner in podcasts.
Help. Get me out. Help. That's my name.
Yeah, this is we're doing the thing.
You look so confused.
Where am I?
What's happening?
Yeah, so this might be a little confusing. The only way that this connects to anything is that it's getting later in the year and it's supposed to be cold. Because this movie is about a Jamaican bobsled team.
But much like Jamaica, it's too hot over here.
Yeah.
So we don't get
cold.
to know what cold is.
Yeah.
And
What
that's
is
why
cold?
Jarvis picked this movie, no other reason. Definitely wasn't John Candy.
Yeah, I've just been feeling nostalgic about John Candy recently. Been really wanting to do one of his movies. Some point we'll do another one. I think maybe Uncle Buck.
Maybe we will. Who knows? Maybe we will.
Yeah. You'll have to stay tuned to find out.
Maybe.
Or maybe not. So...
Do you want my first impressions? Because mine
Cool
are a lot
Runnings.
more recent. Yeah, Cool Runnings.
Yours are a lot more recent?
Yeah.
Like...
We watched it at the same time, apparently.
Well, I also...
this time around.
I also rewatched it before I came here.
Really?
Yeah, so...
That good.
When you said most recent, I was like, really? Most recent? I literally finished up the movie and then came over here.
When was the first time you watched it?
Oh, man, yeah. A long time ago. I was a young lad.
I wasn't even born.
You weren't even born yet when I watched this movie.
Yeah, so, you see one sports movie, you've seen them all.
No.
That is, yeah, you're correct.
Not really. Incorrect.
Yeah,
Wrong.
But for a while...
Because you've never seen a Jamaican bobsled team in any movie besides this one. I know you haven't.
Okay, Jarvis. He thinks he knows me. So, the 90s had a really big chokehold on inspirational sports movies. I think that most of the really good sports movies came from the 90s, like Remember the Titans.
Was that in the 90s?
The Longest Yard, Angels in the Outfield.
Oh, man. Angels in the Outfield.
That was a good one.
Well,
Talk about good sports movies.
We were very poor growing up, and we had a few movies, and Angels in the Outfield was one of those ones that we had, and we wore that tape out.
No, I completely understand. Johnny Tsunami.
Look, it's God's thumbnail.
I love Angels in the Outfield. I have fond memories of falling asleep at like 9 p.m. as a like 6-year-old to that movie.
Yeah.
With all of them.
Yeah.
You're like, wow, the power of community.
You know another 90s movie that's kind of weird that maybe we should watch?
What?
Indian in the Cupboard.
Oh my God.
You remember that?
Yes. That's a weird
Blast
movie.
from the past.
That's
right?
a weird book.
Dude, I felt like
It's a
you
weird
just
book
like
and a weird movie.
You had that time zone going back.
Yeah,
into
I got
the core memories.
I got That's So Ravened just now.
I was gonna say you got what's it called, Ratatouille. It just took you back to
like
your child when you were a child.
Yeah, that one's crazy.
And you remember the main character's name?
No.
Emery.
Emery.
Little white kid.
Put it on your list. Oh, really? That's
Oh
crazy.
man, you guys have to watch it together, and I so badly want to hear.
No, that one's a crazy. It's like think Toy Story, but all of the worst parts.
That movie, like,
It's like all crazy.
dude. When I think of like '90s movies, that one particularly.
That one's
stands out.
definitely. That one's like if you mashed Toy Story with the Chronicles of Narnia.
Yeah, and Small Soldiers
Yeah,
a little bit.
yeah. That's crazy. Cool Runnings though.
Yeah, Cool Runnings. We're here for Cool Runnings.
No one's,
John
no
Candy.
one's shoving Indians in cupboards in that one.
No Indians are going in or out of cupboards.
But there are some Jamaican Olympians.
Going out of Jamaica and into Canada for the Olympics.
to learn how to bobsled properly. So
Yeah, first
I stand by the fact that it's like every other sports movie, but I can say that this one probably like set the bar because we learned a couple of things before we started filming about this movie. Yeah, I said it.
You were on the. Oh,
I said it to you.
I thought I said filming before we started filming Cool Runnings, and I was like, oh, I didn't know you were
Yeah. I'm actually John Candy.
reincarnated.
Sorry to tell you. It's been me the whole time. I'm the one that you love.
Yes, it all makes sense now. That's why you've been so affectionate towards me.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know if you remember the last time we were here, you mentioned sucking on my beard. I remember that vaguely.
Mentioning it, do you remember what happened after we finished recording? My God, Jarvis, come on.
So it's the epitome. So in your opinion, it's the epitome of '90s sports movies.
Yeah. Well,
Okay.
I would say epitome of sports movies.
Okay.
Just it's like it's got the same formula.
formula.
Oh no, somebody really wants to succeed. Ragtag team has to get together, learn how to get along. They fall apart a little bit, but then they get their act together, and then they persevere and succeed in their own merits.
Man, thanks for coming to Full Time Movie Fans. That was Cool Runnings.
That's every sports movie that's supposed to be inspirational, which isn't a bad thing. I will say there's two things that unfortunately get me every time.
Okay.
The first one is patriotism, really like strong patriotism
Yay,
in a movie.
America.
I'm not even joking. It gets me every time. Huh? Yeah, my white comes out. Thank you. Like Red Dawn, I cried, and Red Dawn, I cry at Saving Private Ryan. It gets me every time. I have no idea why. Nothing makes me want to enlist in the military like a good war movie. Simple said almost every straight white man has the same affect. All of our dads. Do you have that same feel for war movies? Or like Strong Pride, Top Gun.
I think as I get older, the less and the more beat down by late stage capitalism I get, the less patriotic I feel.
Fair enough.
The harder it is to make a buck and earn a
It still
living
gets me
wage.
though. It still gets me though. And
I would
those
say
military benefits also look real good the further into that late stage capitalism.
Yeah, you're right about that. The older I get, I feel like in some ways the less patriotic I feel. It used to be. I remember back in the day and back in.
But you watch a good movie. You're like, man,
for sure.
let me in that military right now.
But I'll say this: I think it's especially when it comes to a movie about. Well, the funny thing is the Olympics, right? I feel like there was a comedian, I forget who it was, but they were talking about the Olympics and how they're not really patriotic, but every time it's America, they start cheering and chanting in their living rooms. I think that's normal. I feel that way about the Olympics when it comes to rooting for America.
Well, you got to root for your team.
Yeah, you got to root for America. It's one of the only things that we can actually come together on.
It's in the Constitution.
Because it's America versus...
It's a law.
Yeah, because it's America versus everybody else, which is...
Well, we are the little guy.
Right. What were you asking me? Yes. Yes.
Yeah, it gets you, but not as much anymore.
Not as much anymore.
So the second thing is, and it's almost always in sports movies, and I'm not a sports person like at all, but the common theme in it is when somebody who is doing their absolute best to succeed fails and they get back up anyway. That's the other thing that always get every single time. Yeah, it's an anime trope at this point too.
Yeah, here's the thing though that's so funny about this conversation and being patriotic. This is not about America. This is about Jamaica.
Which is kind of funny.
Yeah.
So, but it gets me on the second part because of the spoilers of the ending. They don't succeed in their trying to get gold at the Olympics, which I also think is great because it would have felt a little cheap if they did. Yeah. And instead they like almost die.
Yeah.
And they have paramedics like running towards them after they've crashed, and they all just get out of their bobsled, lift it up, and cross the finish line anyway. And I was like, yes!
Yes! Jamaica! Yes! I mean America.
Go Jamaica! So yeah, that's my first impressions.
Yeah, that's the American spirit.
I like rooting for people. Yeah. Give me someone good to root for. I'll root for them.
Yeah, I should have just had the cries of a bald eagle behind them as they carried their bobsled across the finish line. I think that's how
I was going to say more patriotic things.
Oh, that's that thing where we talk about.
You're posting this after the big thing in America is going to happen. So.
Oh.
Don't put it in the don't talk about politics in the comments. I was going to say go vote, but I mean this is going to be a little too. Yeah, it's going to be a little too late for that.
And also we talked about this a little bit before we started recording this, not Cool Runnings. That this is a transition from spooky, scary skeletons to Thanksgiving and
that
family.
Whole month of Halloween movies we did.
Yeah. I think we were just like, let's do one Halloween movie, and then it turned into like 4 or 5.
Yeah, in my special upload, which you can go watch right now.
Yeah,
it's a Just Me
episode.
Definitive
rankings.
It's 25 minutes of figuring out which Halloween movie you should watch. By my judgment,
I think we're gonna have to do a poll or something when it comes to Christmas time too for the greatest
that'd be
Christmas movie.
Smart.
Top
Let
3
everybody see the. We're going to do the same thing for Christmas. I don't know if he's going to record it or if I'm going to record it, but I'm watching Christmas movies. So,
yeah, I started quoting Elf already.
I'm going to give him a list of Christmas movies to watch that are going to force him to fill out that tier list properly.
Yeah. He's going to give me some homework.
Yeah. Yes, you can, please.
Yeah.
As long as A Christmas Kiss and A Christmas Prince both make the list. So, Jarvis, what are your impressions of Cool Runnings?
I was very impressed by Cool Runnings, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah. When I was...
like,
okay, this came out in 1993, so I was 5 years old when it came out. I don't know the first time I remember seeing it.
Probably wasn't
seeing
5.
And remembering it was not 5, probably. But I do remember... it's one of those movies that we all have them. Sybil has them.
For sure she does.
That she watched as a kid that you're just like, I loved it so much as a kid. So it holds a special place in your heart right now.
Yeah.
Goofy movie is one of those. Actually, I was shopping for groceries and spent a ton of money on groceries because groceries are expensive. And the cashier, we got some little small talk. She's like, what are you doing later today? I'm like, I'm recording for our YouTube channel, and we do movies. And she's like, what's your favorite movie? And honestly, are you
picking up what I'm picking up over here?
It's like 9 o'clock.
I think that she was flirting, and Jarvis went,
I don't think
my
so.
podcast.
She was not, because it was just casual.
And she asked you what you're doing later, and you didn't go, you? Come on,
wow.
Jarvis.
Wow.
Come on.
I'm such a failure.
Textbook.
Well, this is pretty par for the course for me if that's the case.
Renaming the channel to Full-Time Failure Fans.
Yeah. Only 2 times have I been flirted with where I felt like I caught on. And it was
that's a pretty good standard for a guy.
Because,
I'm not gonna lie. That's pretty good.
Well, see, now you got me on a little tangent because so one time, and both of the times it was in college, I was a lot better looking back then.
Debatable.
Because I was younger, much younger, and I still had my high school bod. So, but anyways, oh yeah, this is fun. My first year at college, my mom got mad because for Thanksgiving, her first holiday, to be able to go back home, I decided to go to some friends that I made at college's home in
Nice.
Louisiana.
Nice.
Because they invited me. And I was like, I'm going to Louisiana. My mom was like, nope. And she's like, and she drove up 12 hours from San Antonio to Springfield, Missouri
That's pretty good.
to take my car.
I think you told me
my
this
car
story.
away. The first car that I ever had that
Yeah.
was new, because she didn't trust my old the truck that I had before she helped me get my first brand new vehicle for college was 2 years older than me and had well over 150 160,000 miles on that truck. She's like, I don't want you to drive up there because I don't know if I want something, you have something reliable with the warranty. And so within like 3 or 4 months of college, she's like, well, you know what? If you're not going to come to San Antonio, then you don't have the car.
Yeah, you don't need a reliable vehicle.
I literally spent Thanksgiving driving from San Antonio back up to Springfield, Missouri. That was my Thanksgiving. And I stopped at a gas station on a big, long toll road in Oklahoma. And I remember walking into the gas station, and she was kind of walking out, and I saw her look me up and down. And I was like, nice.
Hell
The
yeah,
other time was
Jarvis.
some girl that worked at Burger King, and there was somebody else there, and he was like, she was totally flirting with you. And I was like, yeah, I know. Actually, do remember one more time, a friend of mine checked me out. I was talking, and I looked over, and she just got done, her eyes going back up to where they should be up here. And I was like, did you just check me out? She was the kind of girl that was like, yeah, so. I was like, okay. She was very straightforward. But anyways.
Yeah.
No,
You could've
I don't
picked up
think
a girl
so.
today.
But anyways, I told her, and she hit me with what's your favorite movie? And recency bias, all I could think of was a Goofy movie.
That's fine. That's a fine choice.
But I should have said Everything Everywhere All at Once.
As long as it's not Scooby-Doo Zombie Island. I'm being tossed things again.
The Fury. Well, see, so I'll say that this is one of those movies that I watched as a kid that was so great to me that I was like, I think we should watch this. And I'm sure it was not special to you, but it's special to me.
Yeah, you're correct. It wasn't special to me.
Yeah.
But that's fine. I mean, not every movie has to be like a very special movie.
Yeah,
to
we don't
everybody.
have to like it to the same degree.
I have a running theory that every movie is somebody's favorite.
Man, I hope not. Because there's some movies out there.
There's some 8-year-old out there that's like, I love the Emoji Movie.
Oh, I thought you were gonna
so
say.
me.
I thought you were gonna say Hereditary.
I do
There's
know
some
somebody.
8-year-old
I
there's
do
some
know
8-year-old.
somebody who would claim that Hereditary is their favorite movie.
As an 8-year-old.
Sure. I'm not naming names. I'm not dropping names on the podcast. That's rude.
Yeah, put their name in the comments. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah. Put your name in the comments. You know who you are.
Jinx.
So yeah, that's Jarvis's impression of Cool Running.
I really like it. It's so fun. John Candy is a gem. I freaking love his movies so much. And honestly, the novelty of just a Jamaican bobsled team is just all perfect for me.
Yeah.
I love it. It's just a feel good movie. Makes me feel good. And that's what I want to experience right now because life is kind of sucky. In general, but especially now.
For reference, we're like 2 days away from the end of this election cycle in America, and it's never fun.
Yeah.
So we need some cool runnings in our life right
Yeah.
now.
Yeah,
Which I can agree with.
Because the candidates that are running are anything but cool. Come on, can I get a high five? Come
High
on,
five
come
you.
on, come on.
You can get a high five from the frog. Here you go.
All right.
The frog isn't registered.
We
to
don't really
vote.
have any cool candidates, but we did watch a cool movie
Yep, which I'm going to tell you about right now.
in 3. No, I'm just kidding. Good.
Cool Runnings is a movie that was scored by Hans Zimmer, and you can tell because all he did was make steel drum covers of 90s pop songs, which is not a normal thing Hans Zimmer does. Hans Zimmer is the same composer that
Yeah, he
Did
does all the stuff.
Interstellar and
Yeah, all the cool stuff.
all the cool stuff.
He's the big music guy.
Yeah, and I went, oh, cool, Hans Zimmer made the soundtrack, and it was all steel pan drums. Anyways, our main character, Darius, has a familial history of going to the Olympics, and he's a runner, and he wants to do the same thing.
Yeah. And we know this immediately right off the bat because
he's running.
Because he's running in the beginning of the movie.
Yeah. In Jamaica.
The first scene.
Yeah. And his friend
Sanka
is a box car derby
champion.
Champion
of the world.
at this point. And so they have their two sports, and Doris is like, I gotta go do the competition.
Very comparable sports, these two.
Yeah, that's kind of what they're trying to get at.
Right.
Is that they both have
Olympic
like
running,
race things that they like to do. And so Doris goes to the qualifying race for the Olympics. For the Olympics. No, Sanka does his thing. He wins. That's not a surprise.
Yeah, there's a whole scene of
he has a lucky egg that he kisses, so he has to win. That's how that works.
We all have a lucky egg. It's not always an egg, but and sometimes we kiss those things.
Mine's my wife.
You're lucky person. Cute. Too cute. Cute finger guns.
So there, Doris meets. I'm having to look up these names. I'm sorry.
Jules Brenner.
Yeah, Jules Brenner and Junior. Guys,
I just watched a few hours ago.
Yeah, and Brenner is a very well-known runner who hates being in Jamaica and wants to be anywhere else.
He's the tough guy.
He is the
Bald.
tough guy.
He's got the muscles.
He's big.
He's a big dude.
He's a big guy.
Yeah.
And Junior is...
And you know how we feel about big guys.
Yeah, we love big guys. We're two big guys over here. Two big guys watching movies. That's the new podcast name.
Yeah, right.
And Junior is Nepo baby.
Yeah.
It is also a decent runner, right?
His family's rich.
And he could prove to us that he's a decent runner if he wasn't tripping everybody up and causing them to
he's a decent
from the
runner
race.
When he's not completely failing at running.
Yeah. So he trips everybody, and most people that should probably qualify for the Olympics don't get to.
He's literally running right between our hero, the main protagonist, Doris,
and big guy.
Yeah, and big will crush your skull if you look at him wrong. Jules Brenner, and he trips them both.
So all three of them don't get to go to the Olympics. Oh no! And so what is
the inciting incident?
Yeah, that is the inciting incident. So what does Doris do? He goes and he complains, and he goes, "No, you have to run the race back. That wasn't fair." And the guy running the Olympic whatever in Jamaica is like, "Yeah, well, life's not fair." And so Doris goes, "Hey, what's that picture on the wall with my dad in it?" And he goes, "Oh, that's the bobsled team. When Jamaica had a bobsled team."
No. He said, "Who's that guy next to my dad?" And he's like, "Oh, that's
Irv."
Yeah, that's some dude who was trying to create a Jamaican bobsled team, and he was trying to recruit your dad for it." And he was like,
"That's John Candy.
That's Sean Candy." And he was also like, he's like, "Yeah, that guy still lives on the island." He's like, "Oh, really?" He's like, "Yeah, but he might be in jail or dead because he's a bookie."
Yeah. And so Doris goes and finds him with Sanka.
With the great because he was inspired by his dad to start a Jamaican bobsled team with this guy.
Yeah. And so he goes and finds John Candy. John Candy is losing money actively on a sports bet.
Yeah.
And so he's not in a good mood. And Doris goes, "Hey man, I'm thinking about putting together a team."
Yeah.
And John Candy goes, "Kick rocks." And Doris goes, "Well, then I'll be back later and I'll ask you again."
In this situation, Doris was Sam Jackson, Nick Fury, and John Candy was Iron Man.
Yeah, sure. We could say that. John Candy is Iron Man confirmed.
Sorry, my leg itches.
I'll scratch it for you.
Thanks.
Don't look at me like that. Someone has to take care of him. Are we really friends if there's no homoeroticism between us? Let's be real.
He was going to do it with his raspy cat-like tongue as well.
Mm-hmm. I sand it specifically for him.
This is too much. I think we're getting a little bit too familiar with each other.
We record these way too late now. Anyways, so yeah,
There's a whole montage.
There's a whole
being
montage.
Like, no, I'm not going to do it. And then
eventually he gives in.
That
He's
fighting
like,
American spirit in Derice.
Fine, I'll let you do it just once.
He's like, I'm gonna come back every day until you say yes.
Yeah, and so Derice gets as many people as he possibly can into one room to try to put together a bobsled team. And John Candy goes, "You guys like breaking your bones? How about shattering them into millions of pieces?"
Yeah, and he shows a lot of graphic scenes.
Tone.
Yeah, a lot of graphic scenes of bobsleds being flipped over and running off the course.
And then by the end of it, they got 3 people, which is unfortunate because they need 4 for a bobsled team. So who do they call in but the person who tripped them for the 4th person, which causes a lot of problems.
Well, the funny thing is that it was literally Derice and Sanka were the only one in there.
Yeah.
And the other 2 that show up were not there for the thing, which is a good thing that they weren't there.
Because Brenner was like, "This is my only chance to get out of here, so I'm going to do it."
Yeah, big bald guy. He's like, "Okay, well, I need to get out of here."
Yeah.
No matter what, so I'm in.
And Junior was like, "I want to go to the Olympics."
And Joel was very mad. He was like, "You mother.
Yeah.
You tripped me, and now I can't go to the Olympics," or something like that. Sorry for that. That was horrible.
That's pretty good.
Horrible accent.
So then they go to a training montage where John Candy teaches them how to bobsled, Jamaican bobsled.
With the push carts.
Yes, and they get slightly better, and then at some point they're going so fast that the police try to catch them. And they're like, whose vehicle is this? And they go, it's property of the Jamaican bobsled team. And the police are like, the Jamaican bobsled team, like the snow sport. And then John Candy shows up and he goes, "You guys did it. We got a good time. Back away, police. We did it. We can go." And then they go to another montage where they have to fundraise.
Yeah, and it's just a bunch of people laughing at them and saying no.
Yeah, they had
some
a kissing
of them don't
booth.
some of them don't say no, they just laugh.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, they try to get creative with raising money and
yeah. And at the end of it, they made like $1.17 or something like that.
Yeah, I think
and they needed $20,000.
Yeah, I think Derice and his girlfriend or wife at the time put in the most, and it was like $50, and then everybody else got like a few dollars.
Yeah.
Sanka did the worst, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
And then, hey, who comes in and saves the day? But
the rich kid Junior, he's got Papa's money, and by Papa's money, he sold his car.
Yeah.
And then they were like,
for $20,000.
No, dude, we can't. Yeah, imagine.
Dude,
what kind of car is
then,
that? Yeah, especially in Jamaica. What car was that?
I don't. It was a red sports car with the convertible one.
Oh yeah,
he was washing, and then he sold it. So in 1993 money, what is that, like $50,000?
Probably, yeah,
maybe 60. Crazy.
It's a pretty penny for sure.
Yeah.
And then everybody goes, "Oh no, we can't take that. That's not a fair gift." And he goes, "I literally tripped all of you and made it so you couldn't go to the Olympics."
And they were like, "Oh yeah."
So you're taking this is a gift to you. And then Derice goes, "You mean a gift to us because you're a part of the team, brother." And then they go to Canada. This movie seems like it goes by really fast. It's actually a pretty straightforward movie. They go to Canada where racism happens, and people go, "Hey, Jamaica, you can't have a bobsled team. There's no snow where you live." Almost exactly like that.
Yeah, and everybody looks very different from them. Everybody's white.
Yeah.
And pale.
Very pale.
Because they're used to living in the snow.
Yeah. A lot of Canadians. A lot of Russians.
The Swiss are the main
The Swiss
enemies.
are the main enemies that are being racist.
Yeah. Crazy. Aren't they supposed to be known for being nice? The Swiss?
And John Candy.
Neutral to everything except for racism, apparently.
And John Candy calls it a favor to one of his old buddies and is like, "Hey, we need a bobsled."
Well, okay, now you're back to doing Beetlejuice, it sounded like.
We need a bobsled.
Put your toes in it.
I'll suck your toes for a bobsled.
No. So I think one of the important things that we learned, though, is that John Candy doesn't have a great reputation.
Not at all. In fact, everyone stares at him.
Yeah, even his friend. So it's a group of 3 guys, and one of them is clearly, kind of still likes him.
Yeah.
Shakes his hand, and the next guy just stares at him and walks away.
Yeah. This isn't where we learn what his problem is, though, right? We
No,
learn that
no,
a little
no.
bit later. Yeah.
No,
yeah.
but we know that people don't like this guy at all.
Oh, I forgot to mention, he's like a 2 or 3 time gold medal winning coach
For bobsled?
for bobsled, not Jamaican bobsledding, but
No.
bobsledding in general.
No. Yeah.
Yeah. So he's like got a good reputation,
Well,
except he doesn't.
yeah, except he doesn't.
So he asked his friend for a bobsled. Everyone's like, "You came here without a bobsled? That's crazy." And they go training with their bobsled, and they do like not the qualifying race, but like a pre-qualify or whatever. Yeah. And then we learn that the reason why John Candy doesn't train people anymore is because he cheated and got them disqualified.
He's a cheater.
He put weights in the front of the bobsled to try to make it go faster.
Very unpatriotic of him
Yeah,
to cheat and then lose his gold medals.
that's right. Someone said this is very American.
Very American, but not very patriotic.
Yeah, it's un-American, but no, it's very American, but unpatriotic. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
you got it right.
Thanks.
And the team learns that, and they're all just like, "Oh, okay."
Well, Darius didn't. He's a good.
He kind of doesn't
Loyal.
believe it.
Well, he just I felt like he just said, "So what, man?" Like,
Yeah, he didn't want to give in to the hater trying to like bring the vibe down.
yeah, because he's a good person.
Yeah.
Like Goofy,
Yes, like Goofy.
very positive. He just said, "Hey, you know what? Everybody makes mistakes.
Yeah, Goofy goof.
We keep running with it."
Coolly.
Yep.
And then the more stuff happens, like
Oh, important stuff.
important stuff. Precisely, Jarvis. Important stuff.
No, actually important stuff.
No, I believe you. I'm
because
just drawing a blank.
I'm
You
trying
got
to
it.
remember which came first.
Got it.
The part where they're all in the room and they're kind of talking and Jules making fun of Sanka for reading the Hulk comics.
Yeah,
Does that before or after the bar fight?
that is before the bar fight.
Okay, so then that's important because
Yeah, that's team development.
because there's a lot of tension between Jewel
I will say
and Junior.
that scene did give me like my new favorite comeback.
Oh yeah.
It did, because I didn't even tell Sybil about this. So the scene is Sanka is reading a Hulk comic,
Yeah.
and Brenner, the hard-ass big guy, is like taking his attention away or something. He goes, "I'm going to go back to my reading," and then pulls out the Hulk comic, and Brenner goes, That's not reading. That's a picture book for kids."
Yeah.
And Sanka goes, "Well, then I'll let you read it when I'm done." Which I thought was
Sanka's-
brilliant.
he's great with the one-liner. Sanka is.
That was too good.
He's the funny friend of the group.
Oh, for sure.
But
and-
there's a very sweet moment between Jewel and Junior,
Yeah.
which is reciprocated later on in the bar fight, which I love. That's probably my favorite part of the whole movie. Both of those scenes.
Yeah, he's talking
Because-
him up and trying to
yeah.
help him find a voice for himself
Well,
and not be a
he's-
doormat.
Yeah, well, Joel is like, we get to learn about him because he says, look, man, he basically looks at Sanka and says, look, man, you're a loser who's not going anywhere and you don't have any goals and everything is just, flippant to you. He's like, I've got plans, I've got goals, and I'm going to live here one day. And he has a folded up
Oh, yeah.
picture of Buckingham Palace. And he doesn't know that it's Buckingham Palace. He just knows it's a palace and it's huge.
Yeah, and he wants
And
to live
he
in
has
it.
aspirations.
Yeah.
And Sanka and Junior both start laughing at him because I think Sanka says, yeah, if you marry the queen, you can live there. The Queen of England. And Junior's like, yeah, man, that's the Buckingham Palace in
Brita's
England.
like, no.
Yeah, and
What are you talking about? It's like,
but-
yeah, you can only live there if you're royalty.
yeah,
There's
yeah.
No
So
other
you got to marry the
choice.
queen if you want to live there. And so, but the heartfelt moment is that you see Joel like hear the truth of his goal, and he becomes disheartened.
It
Like,
also brings him back down to their level.
yeah, he
reality.
takes the photo and he crumples it, and he kind of throws it on the floor or leaves it on the counter, And Junior says, he goes to Sanka and he says, man, like, he's like, don't put him down. Like, he's got dreams. At least he has dreams. He said, you know what? He picks up the paper, uncrushes it, and he starts walking towards Jewel, and he says, you know what? The world would be a much better place if there were more Jewel Brenners in the world. Mm-hmm. And he comes up to him, puts his hand on his shoulder, gives him puts the photo back on the desk where he is, and he says, hey, don't let anyone like tell you your dreams are dumb or something like that.
Yeah. And then Brenner is a diehard Junior stan from then on out.
Dude, well, now he's
It's
made
like, It's like, I will not let anyone step on you ever again.
He's got his back. He's his best friend now.
You do not let people talk to you like that. You're a champion. You're a winner.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. So then let's continue the story, but we'll get to that.
That is basically what happens.
Does it jump straight to the bar scene?
No, that he does it once where he's like, hey, man, you don't need to be a doormat for people. And then the bar scene happens like 2 scenes later.
Yeah, they literally are, everybody in, I guess, Canada is just chilling, having a good time before the games start. And our Jamaican team is there. The Swiss team is there. A lot of the teams are there. Mm-hmm. Sanka's just freaking, dancing with some country girl.
Loves it.
Yeah, he's having a great time. She's got his Jamaican beanie on. Mm-hmm. So she's having a good time as well. She probably flirted with him too, but he knew what was going on.
Doesn't it get traded for a cowboy hat later in the scene?
He takes her cowboy hat.
Yeah.
And she's wearing the beanie. But there's dancing, and then Jewel and Junior are talking, and maybe he's getting hyped up. Yeah. And then the Swiss guy's like, "Hey man, keep it down." I don't know. You do the voice
for the Swiss people.
Yeah.
Yeah, they sound white, so it's, "Hey man, keep it down."
No, they got a thick accent.
I don't know how to do Swiss. Hey man, keep it down. I don't know. What do you want from me? Hey man, keep it down.
They're aggressive and they're like. You just always default to your Beetlejuice voice.
Hey man, keep it down.
He's just
Kermit is the Swiss. Yeah.
Yeah, but they're kind of mean, and it's like, hey man, keep it down over there. And he's like, oh man, I'm sorry. And then he's like, yeah, you better be. And Jewel's like, nuh-uh.
Yeah.
Don't talk to my friend like that. He's like, because he says, what are you going to do about it? And then Junior's like, nothing. And then Jewel's like, I'll do something about it.
Yeah. And then they basically get into a little scuffle, but not really.
Well,
they get in trouble.
Well, Junior goes to the bathroom to sulk. Joel follows him and gives him the greatest pep talk ever.
Yeah, that is you are a champion.
No, he says
you cannot be stomped on.
He says, look in the mirror.
Stand for yourself.
See? He says, what do you see? Oh, because he was upset about his dad. His dad was like, hey, you need to quit this. And he was upset. What do I do? You don't understand. My dad's really mad. And so Joel is with him in the bathroom, I believe, just looking in the mirror. And he was like, what do you see? And he just says, I see Junior. And then he's like, you know what I see? I see pride. I see power. I see a bad motherfucker who don't take no shit from no one. And then he's like, now what do you see? And then he's like, yeah. He's like, I do too. I see pride. And he just basically quotes him. And then he feels real confident. He goes back to the Swiss guy. And he's like, hey, you can't talk to me like that. You better have a good apology. And then he's like, no. And he's like, well, you better. And he again says no. And then that's when the bar fight starts.
Yeah.
But I really, dude, between those two moments where Junior stuck up for Jewel regarding his dreams, and Jewel saying, hey, man, you're timid, you're scared, you lack confidence. He's like, but you know what I see? I see pride in you. You have a strong pride for your country, for your goals. I see a power to defy your father, to just stand above, the bullies. And he said, he said, hey, you're a bad motherfucker. Like, he basically said, he's like, so I really love that so much, just to see him be like, yeah, you know what? I see those things too. And for him to do something about it, I don't know. It tugs at the heartstrings.
It is the team building part of the sports movie for sure. And then they all go back, and Doris is like, come on, guys. We can't be doing this.
Yeah.
John Candy walks in and goes, "Yeah, guys, we can't be doing this." And then he gets called in by the committee or whatever.
Yeah, he gets a note or something, and they're like, "Hey, about this Jamaican thing, it's not going to work out."
We skipped the part where they raced in the qualifiers and they beat the time to do do it.
They were already trying to throw wrenches in their plans. They said, "Oh, hey, it's not a minute 2 seconds anymore. It's you got to get it
under
a minute flat."
now. Yeah. And they did it.
They did it.
And then John Candy gets called in by the committee, and the committee are like, "Hey, so you have to race in like a sanctioned race to be able to qualify for like the Olympic race."
Outside of the Olympics.
And he was like, "Well, the rule used to be that you could do these qualifier races in place of an actual other qualifying race, which is what we did." They said, "Yeah, that was the rule until 25 minutes ago when we changed it."
Yeah,
John Candy went, "I think that's kind of fucked up."
Yeah, real American move there.
Yeah.
Sure.
And they went, "Well, we don't care if you think that it's wrong. It's what we're doing." And then he goes, "Man, this is bullshit," and then leaves.
He said, "What?"
"Man, this is bullshit," and then leaves and goes back to the boys and goes,
"One more time for good
yeah,
measure."
We're done. "Man, this is bullshit," and then leaves. And then tells the boys that they got disqualified for some bullshit. And so they all get kind of upset, and then it all kind of culminates into nothing because he gets called back like the next scene and is like, "Hey, we changed our mind. You guys can race."
Yeah, well, he gives a pretty epic speech about
to the guys,
about what representing your country in the Olympics means, and how dare you crush these innocent young men's dreams because I was a messed up person. And and it was good. It was great.
It was good.
He did a good job.
So they all
he won
all
the judges' hearts and the hearts of all Americans who were watching it.
He got the gold medal in empathy.
He did.
But he's still technically disqualified, so he didn't really get it. So it's the night before they go do their Olympic race.
He cheated, and he had to give it back because he wasn't sincere.
And Doris wants to know why he cheated.
Fair question.
And John Candy's like, "Yeah, that's a fair question. And I guess you deserve to know." And it was basically because he had to win.
He made winning his whole personality.
Yep.
Like he was nothing if he wasn't a winner, and so that's where he was. Winning was so important that he would cross lines in order to stay a winner.
Yep.
And that's bad, folks.
And that's bad.
Don't do that.
We don't like to cheat here.
No, we don't cut corners.
No cheating. We do not buy subscribers.
No, we don't. We get them the good old-fashioned hard way by begging
Travis going to the grocery store and flirting with the cashier. Travis is going to have to buy a lot more groceries this month.
And putting up kissing booths for subscribers.
Yeah, we are putting up a kissing booth at Fiesta this year.
Yeah, we do it the old-fashioned way. We stare into the camera and make our eyes big, and we beg and plead.
Yeah, the full-time kissing booth.
Yeah.
So they go do their race, and they do terribly, to the point where John Candy goes, "Hey, guys, I thought you guys wanted to win. You guys work them among yourselves and let me know if you actually give a shit." And then they come back the next day, and they knock it out of the fucking park.
Oh, man. Yeah.
I think it was like a 56-second time or something like that. And everyone was like, "Oh my God, where was this yesterday?"
Yeah, because yesterday everybody was laughing at him, and they were like, "These guys."
So I brought them from last place to 8th place, and then if they did another good one, they'd probably make top 3
Yeah, there was a good scene in Jamaica of a little kid.
It was very sweet.
On a little chalkboard erasing them from whatever place they were in.
39th.
Yeah, all the way up to 8th. So
it was pretty good. And then they get to the final race, and for some reason, I don't know why, people didn't tighten their fucking bolts before they got in their bobsled.
Well,
which
before that,
feels like normal, regular, like, hey, big race maintenance.
Double check everything.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, one thing that I think is important is after they do good, everybody's now on their side.
Oh, yeah. because they've earned the respect of their peers.
Yeah. Yeah, even the announcers were very...
Yeah, that's
now,
true.
Now,
on the last day, they were all like
overtly
Jamaican bobsled
biased.
team as a T-shirt.
They were
which
not
is
unbiased judges or commentators anymore. They were very
and
biased.
so they start the third race. They're killing it, and they're like zipping and weaving and driving, and bolts are tumbling out of place. And as they're hitting like the last turn, their bobsled tips over and basically like lands on its side, and they're probably like 100 feet from the finish, probably something like that.
Yeah, not very far. It's with an eye shot. You could probably throw a rock far enough to pass the finish line from where they were.
So they
a stone's throw.
From what we learned earlier, that it's not a bones breaking sport; it's a bone shattering sport. So it's like, are they dead? And thankfully, Sanka asks if they're dead.
That's a joke, a callback.
Yeah.
I think it's Doris who asked him. He's like, "Hey, Sanka, are you dead?"
Yeah. And so, not yet. And so they see like the paramedics coming towards them.
Motion, running.
Yeah, it's all slow motion. And
very, very dramatic.
It was either Junior or Sanka that was like, Doris, what do we do? And he said, I'm going to finish the race.
Yeah. Very American spirit.
Very American of this Jamaican man.
The American spirit had taken over him, possessed him.
And so they all get out of the bobsled. They pick it up over their shoulders. They walk in over that finish line.
And everybody cheers.
And they gain the respect of all of their peers, even to the point where the Swiss guys go, hey, man, can't wait to see you back next time.
Yeah, we'll see you next Winter Olympics.
Yeah. And that's Cool Runnings.
Cool Runnings. What a cool running time of about an hour and a half.
I agree.
But they also ran on ice a lot, which is what this is.
So one of the fun things that we learned about this movie is that at the time, it was the highest grossing live-action Disney movie.
This is the fun facts portion of the show, guys. I'm sure.
Another fun fact, it cost $15 million to make, and...
That's $5 million less than it took to make a Goofy movie.
That's
which
true.
Came out 2 years later.
And do you want to guess how much it made, Jarvis?
It made 40 million.
40 million. 14 million? Do you think they made 40? How about $154 million?
Whoa!
That's more than 10 times return.
That's a
11-time return.
That's a cool profit they made there.
Yeah, that's a lot of money.
Yeah, that's good.
That's like I hand you $100 and you turn around and you go, "Hey, here's $1,500."
Man, I wish someone would just give me $100.
I'm saying,
bro, I was in bad news over at the shop. I was like, "Oh, maybe I have some money. I can buy something."
Oh,
yeah. And I checked my bank account at $36.
Is that what you're doing later tonight? Is going over there?
No, I had
to $12.
No, I had to sell some cards.
Oh no. So yeah, Cool Runnings probably not my favorite movie. I don't know if I would say it is up there for sports movies for sure.
I think it's just a fun, feel good movie that, I mean, you're probably not going to watch. This is one of those movies that you probably haven't seen, most of you guys. But if you are okay with watching older movies,
if you were a teen or an adult in the 90s, you have absolutely watched this movie.
Yeah, it's on Disney Plus. If you've watched through all your normal stuff and you're looking for something to watch, Cool Runnings is on Disney Plus.
Yeah, it is. It's worth watch.
Yeah, and if you like John Candy,
like Jarvis does,
I do love.
Jarvis loves John Candy.
John Candy's great.
He'd suck his beard.
Yeah. Well, his last name is Candy, so sweet man.
Lame joke. Better than the usual ones.
Yeah,
so I'll get
thanks.
it to you.
I'm trying to get better.
Another thing that we learned about this movie in looking at some of the things on the website known as the Internet Movie Database is that the racism was faked.
Racism is fake. You heard it here.
It is all made by the media to try to convince you. No, that's not true.
No,
racism is very real, unfortunately.
Yeah, it is, but not for the movie. It was.
They had to make it.
Yeah,
apparently the people at the Olympics were like, "Hey, man, Jamaican bobsled team, really cool."
Was this? So this was based off of a real thing.
Mm-hmm.
This is based on true events, but
It's
the
based off
racism
of Cool
was fake.
Runnings.
Yes, but but the racism was fake. Tell us more about the fake racism.
The Swiss aren't actually racist. Turns out.
So,
Who's surprised?
so apparently, when the Jamaicans showed up in Canada,
Yeah, they
for,
thought it was
for
cool.
Bobsled, everybody was like, "Wow, this is great! Welcome."
And to be honest, I said this earlier. It checks out for me because, like, anytime I've seen Olympians interact with each other, they're always like, "Oh
Full of
man, you
respect.
come from this part of the world. That's so cool. Like, how do you do the things that you do? That's so cool." Not like, "Hey, you're from a different part of the world."
Yeah.
I don't ever see that. I do know it happens.
Well, but here's the thing. Because racism is so real in reality, it doesn't feel like it's a lie in the movie. You're just like, oh yeah, of course everybody hated them
yeah.
because they're black and they're also, got accents and they're never seen snow before.
Yeah. My dad had a weird take about this movie that I kind of understand.
Did you talk to your dad about this
I
movie?
did talk to my dad about this movie.
Wow.
It's because I was in the middle of watching it, and he called me. And he was like, "What are you doing?" I said, "I'm watching Cool Runnings. Have you watched Cool Runnings?" And he's like, "Yeah, a long time ago." So I asked him what his thoughts were, and he said that he thought it was a pretty solid sports movie, but he felt like the main group, the four dudes, were a little too like cartoony, like not as realistic as they.
Well, I mean, they
Probably
put
should have
Sanka in an ice cream truck, and he busted off one of his dreads because
did
it
do
frustrated.
that.
So that I would say
Yeah.
that's pretty cartoony.
And Sanka just in general is just a
He was like
cartoon
Roger
character.
Rabbit.
Yeah. He made a song about Jamaica having a bobsled team.
A pretty good song, if you
It's
ask
very
me.
catchy. And Sanka also took over the kissing booth at one point and had to kiss an old lady. Like there's a bunch of like
The money that they
small
earned, he had to
things.
give back. Actually, that's
It's
why
really
they lost
sad.
money on the
Yeah.
kissing booth.
he lost money on the kissing booth. It's crazy. So all in all, I kind of agree, like most, but I mean, it's not bad.
It's a fun family.
Yeah.
Slash,
I mean, that was coming from the man who claims that his favorite movie is Braveheart or Passion of the Christ.
which
Those are
that's
his
not
two
me.
options.
That's his dad he's talking about.
Yeah, no, Jarvis loves John Candy.
I love all types of candy.
But John specifically.
Yeah.
Yeah, so do you have anything you want to say over here? Big guy, number one?
I mean, truthfully, I just enjoy it, man. It's just one of those movies that, again, you don't have to think about. You can just relax and enjoy the comical aspects of it. You know what I mean? And it has a heartwarming story. I said earlier, I like the fact that they don't win. They fail miserably, but they win the hearts of the masses, and that's the true victory.
Yeah.
But it would have been cool if they got to take home a gold, but they didn't. So,
Or any medal. Yes, ma'am. Raising your hand.
yes,
You can request a movie live, sure.
we got a live request here, folks.
Game plan with Dwayne The Rock Johnson. It's the first. So mine was Tooth Fairy, but yeah. Oh, I know which one you're talking about now. Yeah, sure. I don't know.
To be honest,
I don't know if I want to watch gameplay,
Yeah, I
but
don't think I've ever seen that one on purpose.
put in the comments. No, go ahead.
Yeah,
Go
put
ahead,
it in the
you can do
comments.
that.
Yeah,
Um,
because then we have to.
so I'm gonna go ahead and give it a
Them's the rules.
arbitrary rating here, and my arbitrary rating would be a watch it.
Yeah.
I think watching it's fair. I think if you're a fan of sports movies specifically, you should own it. But otherwise, yeah, you can watch it.
Yeah, I think, man, again, because this is strictly because of my bias. If you haven't seen this movie, I recommend watching it for sure. But for me personally, it is rewatchable. I do enjoy going back to it.
I mean, you
because
did.
I love John Candy and I
Twice
just
in
love
one
the
week.
movie. But I would say for the average person, it would probably just be a watch. Like watch it. For me, I would say rewatchable just because it's one of those fun, feel good movies that I watched when I was a young lad, and
It
it
made
brings
him
back
want to
fond
be
memories.
in the Jamaican bobsled team.
Yeah, I did when I was a young little half Asian, half white boy living in San Antonio, Texas. I was like, why can't I have been born in Jamaica so that I could be a bobsledder?
Did you know I've been to Jamaica?
I did not know that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Was it accurate the way they depicted it?
We took a little river. No, it seemed like there was a lot more trees. There was a little river tour that we went on, and I was in a raft with my mom, and there was a raft with my dad and my sisters ahead of me. She's been there on a cruise. We did not go on the same one, no. And so they would keep on like tossing things over to us in our little dolls that they made, or like fresh mangoes.
Ooh.
And my dad was sitting in the one in front of us, just like munching down on mangoes.
Bro,
And
I could always...
anytime they handed something to us, my mom would be like, "No, don't do that." And I'm gonna hold it against her probably until I die. But that, like, come on,
Dude, I bet you
fresh
those
mango, come on.
I bet you those were some of the best tasting mangoes. I've ever had.
Probably, and I didn't get to have it.
Oh, would have been. Bro, look, I'm going to put this out there. For anybody, because if you're in San Antonio, or if I ever travel ever, which I don't travel much, so probably in San Antonio, if you ever see me, you're more than welcome to throw fresh tasty mangoes at me. Just make sure that I know that you're about to throw one.
I'm gonna double down on this and also say that if you just see me out in the wilds of San Antonio, that you can throw any kind of mango at me.
Yeah, we love mangoes.
I will have mango any time of the year.
Yeah, same.
This is the important part of this that you needed to listen to.
So fun movie. It's rewatchable for me. I really do love this movie. I think it's great.
Sybil, what would you rate it?
Oh, she hasn't seen it. She hasn't seen it.
it.
Wow. Put this on your watch list, folks. If you haven't seen Cool Runnings, watch it at least once. I think you won't be disappointed.
How many of the movies that we talk about do you think you've actually watched?
Probably about like a solid, I would say 40%.
She said 40%.
Half of the I watched with you.
Yeah. Only like half
The other half she watches.
The only half that you want to watch with me, then the other half you just don't. Yeah. Yeah. Then there's a small part of it that's movies that she's either seen before or that we've watched together.
Yeah.
Before.
Wow.
Except for Paprika and Perfect Blue, which are two movies that she should watch. I watched those while you were in the other room watching Criminal Minds. Anyways, Jarvis, do you want to get us out of here?
I do.
Great.
But first, I'd like to say thanks for being a bunch of cool viewers. Thanks for watching and hanging out with us. I think, you know what I think? We should thank our subscribers because we do have 135 of them, I think, right now.
And I will thank every single one of you right now. Thank you, 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 thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you.
He wants to thank you by sucking your toes.
Thank you, 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 thank you.
Okay, so let me say the thing first.
Thank you,
guys. Thanks everybody.
Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Thanks for hanging out with us.
Thank you.
As always, we hope your day is everything you dreamed to be and more, and we will catch you in the next episode.
Thank you.
Have a good one.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I think that's 135. Sup? You know, you'd look cooler if you'd subscribed.
Your dad wouldn't be so disappointed in you if you subscribed.
Your friends would do it. Aren't you like them? Don't you want to be like your friends? Your friends would do it. Nah, you're too much of a wimp anyway.
Yeah,
You could watch a couple other videos though, if you were cool.
Yeah, you won't though. Should.